Marcus woke to silk sheets and realized he couldn't move. His wrists, bound with leather cuffs lined with fur. His ankles, locked to bedposts he couldn't see. The door? Steel, hidden behind decorative paneling. Soft lighting, luxury fabrics, no windows. A bathroom visible through an open door. Toilet, sink, shower. Everything needed for indefinite captivity. This wasn't a bedroom, this was a tomb. How does a 23-year-old street musician end up imprisoned by Seoul's richest woman? But 3 months earlier, nobody knew his name. Nobody even knew he existed. Picture Gangnam on a Tuesday afternoon. Heat pressing down like a weight. Traffic humming. Glass towers reflecting summer sun. And there, on a corner between Gucci and Chanel, stood Marcus. Dark skin, guitar case, simple clothes. "Another foreign beggar with a guitar," an executive muttered, walking past without looking. Why do they let them stand here? Invisible, just another struggling foreigner in their gilded world. But if you'd stopped, really stopped, you would have heard something. Guitar strings humming Marvin Gaye. Smooth, soulful, the kind of voice that makes people pause mid-stride. The afternoon heat soaked through his shirt. Sweat trickled down his neck. His calloused fingers moved across the guitar neck like second nature. The air smelled like expensive perfume colliding with street vendor kimchi. Car exhaust, fresh flowers from the shop next door. Coffee shop jazz drifting through open doors. He licked his dry lips, tasted salt, tasted survival. What they didn't see. Marcus wasn't desperate. He was strategic. Teaching English to businessmen by day, busking by night. Sending half his paycheck home to a single mother in Atlanta. He had dreams, ambition, a notebook full of songs nobody had heard yet, and a smile that could disarm anyone. Then she stopped. Min-seo Park, 47 years old, worth $3.2 billion, tech empire founder, Forbes cover story. A woman so successful, so powerful, that loneliness stopped being something she felt and became something she was. Nobody called her by her name anymore, just ma'am. That smile? It should have been her first warning. Her voice cut through the street noise, cold, commanding, used to obedience. "I'll take all your CDs." Marcus looked up, met her eyes. His voice, warm, American accent unmistakable, steady and confident. "I don't accept charity, ma'am." No one talked to her like that. Ever. Later, he would tell himself, "She looked at me like I was a person, not a transaction. That's what made me stay." But that wasn't the whole truth. Everyone thought they knew this story. Struggling foreign musician, rich, lonely executive, classic soul romance. They were wrong. This wasn't a love story. This was obsession disguised as love, investment disguised as affection, a cage wrapped in silk. You're about to witness how coffee dates became captivity, how generosity became control, how love became the most dangerous transaction of all. Drop a comment. Have you ever stayed in something because it felt too good to leave? Because what comes next? It only gets darker. Marcus worked 3 jobs to survive in Seoul, teaching English to businessmen who barely looked at him, busking on street corners where people threw coins without eye contact, sending half his paycheck home to a single mother in Atlanta. His visa fees kept stacking up. His room? A goshiwon, barely bigger than a closet. Claustrophobic, suffocating. Ramen for dinner 4 nights a week. The dream of recording an album felt impossibly far away. "In Seoul, I was invisible," he'd later say. "Just another black face in a sea that didn't see me. I got used to it." Until her. But here's what they didn't know. Marcus wasn't some dropout with no talent. He'd attended Berklee College of Music, one of the best music schools in the world, before financial reality forced him out. Self-taught guitarist since age 12, choir director at an Atlanta community center before Korea. His notebooks were filled with songs nobody had heard yet. Marcus had perfect pitch. He could hear a song once and play it back flawlessly. His voice could make grown men cry. He wasn't a victim looking for rescue. He was a man building something from nothing, with dignity, with purpose. Now meet Min-seo, built a tech empire from a single patent at 29. Now 47. Penthouse overlooking Seoul, marble floors, art worth millions. But here's the thing about success at that level. Her employees called her ma'am, never her name. Board meetings filled her calendar. Dinner invitations? None. Money bought her everything except the one thing she craved. To be seen as a woman. Not a bank account, not a brand, not a balance sheet. Just seen. Two invisible people. One ignored for having too little. One ignored for having too much. On Min-seo's nightstand sat a leather journal. She'd been writing in it for 12 years. Every single page filled with one question. When will someone choose me for me? She didn't know it yet, but that journal would be entered as evidence. Proof of premeditation. Proof she'd been planning this for longer than anyone realized. But first came the coffee. That coffee stretched into dinner. A high-end restaurant Marcus had only seen from the outside. They talked for hours. "You're different from what I expected," she said. Marcus smiled. "What did you expect?" "Someone colder. Someone—" She paused. "Lonelier." The word hung in the air. Loneliness. A diagnosis she'd never admitted aloud. But Marcus didn't flinch. Didn't pity her. He laughed about kimchi being spicier than Atlanta hot wings. Asked about her work, her patent, her company, like he actually cared. No agenda, just presence. 15 years. Not one person had asked Min-seo how her day was. Not one person made her laugh without wanting something. But Marcus? He asked about her patent, not her net worth. Noticed she stirred her coffee exactly 7 times. Told her laugh sounded like wind chimes. "For the first time in 15 years, she'd later write in that journal, someone looked at my face, not my bank account." Her chest loosened. She forgot to check her phone. Time disappeared. Something inside her, something she thought had died years ago, flickered back to life. For Marcus, it was just as powerful. "Most people looked through me," he'd say. "She looked at me." She asked where he was from, what his music meant, why he came to Korea. And then she said something that cracked him wide open. "You're talented. Not for a busker. Not for someone like you. Just talented." "Something in my chest broke open," Marcus admitted. "I'd been starving for that. Someone who saw past my skin to my soul." "Come to my place," she said. "I have a piano. I want to hear you play." Marcus hesitated. "That's fast." She smiled. Not flirtatious, just matter of fact. "I'm 47, Marcus. I don't have time to waste." He went. The penthouse was obscene. Floor-to-ceiling windows framing the Seoul skyline. A Steinway grand piano in the corner. Art he recognized from college textbooks hanging on her walls. And Marcus thought, this wasn't just attraction, this was opportunity. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't see it. What he didn't know? She saw it too. She saw his hunger, and she planned to feed it until he choked. The gifts started small. She paid his visa fees. Consider it an investment in your music. Then a new guitar. Every artist needs proper tools. Then his Goshiwon rent for 3 months. You can't create in a closet. Marcus told himself he'd pay her back, that this was temporary, that he wasn't being bought. But every gift came with her smile, her touch, her whispered, "You're special, Marcus." 3 weeks in, the lines blurred. His toothbrush appeared in her bathroom. His clothes filled a section of her closet. His guitar took permanent residence in her living room. Not officially living there, just staying more nights than not. "Why stay in that tiny room when you have all this space?" she'd say. And Marcus thought, why not? She was beautiful, generous, successful. For the first time in 2 years, he had breathing room financially. But then came the questions. Where were you today? Who were you with? casual, smiling, but they felt like leashes. One night, she asked him point blank, "Do you feel like you're using me, Marcus?" He froze. "What? No, She cut him off. "Good, because I'm using you too. For your youth, your energy, your body. We're even." She said it smiling, like a joke, but her eyes weren't joking. Week 4, she bought him a car. "So you don't have to take the subway." Week 6, she paid for studio time. "Record your album." Week 8, she paid his mother's medical bills back in Atlanta. Family is important. Each gift came with a string, invisible at first, then tighter, then choking. And then she said it. "I'm investing in your future, Marcus. Our future. After you finish your album, we'll make it official." "You'll marry me." "Marriage?" Marcus's voice cracked. "Min-seo, I'm 23. You're 47. I know." Her voice went cold. "Which means I know what I want, and I want you." Silence. "Unless you'd rather go back to your Goshiwon? Pay your own visa? Figure out your mother's medical bills alone?" Marcus said yes, not because he loved her, because he was trapped, and too proud to admit it. But what she didn't know, he was already planning his escape. Marcus had been seeing someone. Ji-yeon, 21, college student. They met at a language exchange. "She made me feel my age," he'd later confess. "Free, unchained." One night, Ji-yeon posted a photo. The two of them, smiling, arms around each other. Caption, "Finally found my soulmate." Min-seo wasn't on social media, but her assistant was. The message came during a board meeting. "Ma'am, you need to see this." Min-seo stared at the screen. Her phone nearly cracked in her grip. She didn't cry, didn't rage. She just stared. She hired a private investigator. 3 days later, the report arrived. Marcus had a girlfriend the whole time. Text messages calling Min-seo the Korean ATM. Jokes with his boys about old rich women being easy. Plans to drain her dry and bounce back to the States. Min-seo sat in her office for 7 hours. No food, no water, no meetings, just calculating. "I built myself from nothing," she whispered to the empty room. "Made billions by being smarter than every man who underestimated me. And I let a 23-year-old busker play me like a fiddle." In Korea, a woman her age with a foreign boyfriend? Already scandalous. Being used by him? Unbearable. She made her decision. "If I can't have him, no one will. He's an investment, and I protect my investments." She called him that evening, voice honey sweet. "Baby, I'm transferring $50,000 to your account tomorrow, for your music career. I believe in you." Marcus's heart raced. Real money, freedom money, escape money. "Come over tonight?" she added. "I want to celebrate with you properly." He arrived at 9 p.m., grinning, carrying flowers he'd bought with her credit card. "You're amazing, you know that?" Min-seo smiled. "I know," and watched him drain his wine glass. 20 minutes later, Marcus's vision blurred. His head felt heavy. The ground seemed to tilt beneath him. "Min-seo? I don't feel—" She stood over him. No panic, no fear, just cold, mechanical control. His last sight before everything went black, her in a silk robe, empty eyes, and the faintest hint of a smile. When Marcus woke, everything was wrong. Silk sheets, soft lighting, but he couldn't move. Wrists bound with leather cuffs lined with fur, ankles locked to bedposts. No windows, steel door hidden behind decorative panels. Panic rising in his chest. The door opened. Min-seo entered. White silk robe, tray of food, completely calm. "You're awake. Good. You must be hungry." Min-seo, what the fuck? Shh. She pressed a finger to his lips. "You'll hurt your voice. I love your voice." "This is insane. Let me go." She tilted her head. Let you go? Marcus, I invested $300,000 in you. You're not an expense I can write off. You're an asset. And I protect my investments. His blood ran cold. This room is soundproof. I had it built years ago as a panic room. She smiled. Ironic, isn't it? Week 1. Marcus raged, screamed, threatened, begged. Min-seo visited 3 times a day, fed him, watched him with those calculating eyes, never flinched. Week 2. He tried negotiating. I'll pay you back, every won, just let me go. She laughed, actually laughed. Marcus, I don't want money. I wanted someone who chose me. You sold me a fantasy. I'm simply keeping what I paid for. Week 3. He tried seduction. Baby, we can fix this. I do care about you. She cut him off with a kiss, possessive, claiming, Oh, Marcus, I know you don't love me, but you will learn to. Week 4. Marcus stopped counting days. Sometimes she would come late at night, spray bottle in hand, chemical mist that made him dizzy, weak, unable to resist. When he woke, his body felt drained, violated, used. He would cry silently, face pressed into the pillow, wishing he could disappear. I wasn't a person anymore, he'd later tell police. I was an object, a possession, a thing she owned. 3 weeks after Marcus disappeared, Ji-yeon filed a missing person report. The American embassy got involved. His face appeared on news sites across Seoul. American teacher missing in Seoul. Min-seo watched the coverage over breakfast, unbothered. She'd doctored security footage showing Marcus leaving her building, carried his phone around the city on a burner before letting it die. When police questioned her, she welcomed them gracefully, offered tea. I haven't seen him in weeks. You know how young men are, restless. They left with nothing. Inside that soundproof room, Marcus's hope died. Nobody was coming. I was going to die here. If you've ever felt trapped, in a relationship, a job, a situation you couldn't escape, drop A in the comments. You're not alone. Min-seo's head of security was a man named Mr. Cho. 12 years of loyal service, well paid, discreet. He'd even helped install that panic room, never asking questions. But when police questioned the staff, something nagged at him. The dates, the timeline, the sudden renovations to the panic room's ventilation system. Mr. Cho had a daughter Marcus's age. One night, while Min-seo traveled for business, he made a decision. He used his master key. Mr. Cho found Marcus curled on the bed, staring at nothing, thinner, hollowed out, the light completely gone from his eyes. It took 20 minutes of gentle coaxing before Marcus even believed he was real. I'm calling the police, Mr. Cho said, voice shaking. Marcus whispered, She'll destroy you. She destroys everything. Mr. Cho's jaw tightened. I have a daughter your age. I'll take that chance. Min-seo was arrested at Incheon Airport, returning from Tokyo. She didn't resist, didn't show emotion. Even in handcuffs, she looked imperial. Within hours, the story exploded worldwide. Tech Billionaire held American captive for months. Photos of the room leaked. So luxurious, so comfortable, so utterly a cage. The trial became international news. Courtroom packed, cameras everywhere. Her lawyers argued mental breakdown, obsessive love disorder, temporary insanity. The prosecution was blunt. Kidnapping, false imprisonment, sexual assault. Marcus testified via video link from Atlanta, his voice steady, but his hands shook the entire time. She didn't want love, he told the court. She wanted ownership. She collected me like art. And when I didn't appreciate being framed, I became the villain in her story. Min-seo got 12 years. Her empire crumbled. Her board ousted her. Forbes ran a new headline, The Loneliest Billionaire. As they led her away, she looked back at the camera once. Her expression? Unreadable. Marcus never made music again. He works in his uncle's barbershop now, scissors in hands that still sometimes shake. He doesn't date, can't stand being touched unexpectedly. At night, he still hears silk rustling, still feels phantom restraints, still wakes up checking that his door opens from the inside. Freedom, he said in one interview, is something you only understand once someone tries to take it away. Money is its own kind of violence. Loneliness can be more dangerous than rage. Someone can own you without love, but loving someone, truly loving them, means letting them leave. Some cages are lined with silk, but locked with steel. And the saddest part? The person holding the key believed she was building a home. Was Min-seo a victim of her own loneliness, or a predator who knew exactly what she was doing? Tell me in the comments. Drop A if this story broke you, and if you've ever stayed with someone because leaving felt harder than staying, you're not alone. If Marcus had known what that first coffee would cost him, would he have stayed invisible? Subscribe so you never miss stories where love becomes a cage and freedom comes at a price you can't afford to pay. Next week, the story of a woman who married for a green card and discovered her husband had a second family. And they all lived in the same house. It's darker than you think.